We are going to talk to you guys about the Resilience Factor, which is a book, and the 6 human needs to happiness. Okay, first of all, we're going to talk about the differences between pessimists, sorry, the light was in my eyes, between pessimists and optimists. I'm sure you guys know the difference by now. And before we start, can you guys see this bottle? I don't have a glass with me. Can you guys see how full it is?
No. Shut up, John.
John. I know you guys have heard this in like middle school or high school. Whether you see the glass half full or half empty determines whether you're optimistic or pessimistic. Okay. Now, if you're a pessimist, if something bad happens to you, you usually think of it as it being your fault. And it will always happen because it just always happens to you. And if something happens, you always look at the bad. And these people, research has shown that these people fall into depression a lot more easily than other people and tend to stay in depression for longer periods of time. Now, if you're optimistic, you believe that these bad events are not your fault and they will not happen all the time to you because it's just a little phase in life and they are not permanent. Now, if you're optimistic, you tend to be more resilient towards your events in life, and you tend to be more happy. Now, you can learn how to be optimistic with different little approaches. But before I talk to you about that, I will talk to you about resiliency. Now, resiliency is basically being able to overcome life's obstacles, being able to bounce back from a hardship or a challenge in life. Now, the book that we read, we did this presentation for school one day, last semester, and the book gave us 8 different skills how to be resilient. But I will just talk to you guys about 2, which are the faster skills, which doesn't require sitting down and writing and thinking about every little detail in your event that happened. Now, the first skill is calming and focusing, and the second skill will be real-time resilience. The first skill is calming and focusing, and it helps to focus and stop your negative thoughts. Now, if a negative feeling or a negative thought pops up in your head, you need to stop and think about it. And you can do little different games to change that way of thinking. For example, you can play quick mind games. You can choose a category, let's just say fruit. So if you enter your classroom and all of a sudden there's a pop quiz and you didn't know about it and you're completely stressed about it, you can sit there and breathe. That's the second one, which is what I usually do. I breathe, and then you can memorize poems, lyrics, anything to take your mind off of that negative feeling. And there's also, it helps because it shifts your attention from that negative source to a positive source. So if you're not thinking about the negativity of that event, you're thinking about the positive. Okay, real-time resilience happens when you forget to turn in a project at school. And you're freaking out because there's a major project. And you think, oh my God, my teacher is not going to let me turn it in late. I'm going to fail the class because I don't have this project in. And what you can do is, more accurate, you can find evidence to test out your belief. How accurate is it for me to fail the class because I didn't turn in this project or this homework or any assignment? And the answer is always going to be very unlikely. Because a lot of teachers, I know even in college, you're allowed to turn in homework assignments and late, projects late. Of course, you're not going to get an A, you're going to get points taken off of it. But it is okay because you're still not going to fail. And it's just one event, one assignment, one project out of hopefully many that you turned in on time. And identify why the belief that you had at first is not true. Me failing class is not likely because I have turned in other assignments in on time, because my teacher accepts late work, because I am a good student. One little thing is not going to affect the rest of my the rest of my life career choices. And now, someone else who talks to you about resiliency. He's going to tell you a quick story.
Okay. Alright. My name is Carlos Castaneda, and... Oh, hey, Brittany. Okay, so does everybody know who Mike Tyson is?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, well, for those of you that don't know, this is Mike Tyson. As you can tell, he's a pretty big guy. So, in this picture, Mike Tyson was undefeated, right? This was back in his day when he was really good and blah, blah, blah. So, the story with Mike Tyson is he grew up in a really bad neighborhood in upstate New York. He lived in a detention home, and when he came out to box, he was really good. So every time he boxed, within the first few rounds, he would always knock out his opponent, like really quick, within the first 2 rounds. So if anytime you wanted to go watch him, you would have to make sure you're there within the first few rounds, or you're gonna miss the whole fight, right? Because he would knock out the other person so quick. So if you ever wanted to watch him on TV, you had to hurry up, get the TV, because it was gonna be quick. All right, so that's Mike Tyson. Next slide. So this is Buster Douglas. So what does Buster Douglas have to do with Mike Tyson? Well, he got scheduled to fight Mike Tyson. He was a middleman. Like, Mike Tyson was warming up for a bigger fight, so they put him in a replacement to get Mike Tyson ready. So he was basically nobody. Like, nobody knew about him. And his mom found out that he was going to go and fight Mike Tyson, so she works at a hair salon. And she was telling everybody that how her son was going to beat Mike Tyson, and she was bragging about it, right? So Buster Douglas finds out that her mom's bragging about it, and so he goes up to her mom and it's like, "Chill out, Ma. Like, this is Mike Tyson. He knocks everybody out. Like, don't talk about that." And that's his story. So a few days before the fight, his mom dies. All right, listen. A few days before the big fight, Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas, his mom dies. So he's like, "I gotta win this fight. My mom believed in me I could win this fight." So he's like, "I gotta win this fight." All right, next slide. So this is what happens when the fight starts. As you can see, he knocks Buster Douglas out. And when Mike Tyson knocks somebody out, the other person doesn't get back up. Never. They never get back up. So Buster Douglas does something that no other boxer has done in the history of boxing. Next slide. He gets up. So this is a big event in boxing history for everybody, because this no-name got up from a fight with Mike Tyson. So as the fight goes on, within like the 10th round, he also does something else that has never been done before. Next slide. He knocks out Mike Tyson. So everybody's in shock because he knocked him out. He won the fight. And after the event that Mike Tyson lost, everybody started beating Mike Tyson, right? So it just took one guy to prove how Mike Tyson could get beaten. So they found out Mike Tyson's weakness. If you can last within 5 rounds with Mike Tyson, after that, the last few rounds, he has nothing left. He has no stamina, he has no strength, that's it. So all you have to do is outlast him. And in life, you just gotta outlast some things in life. You just have to find the secret of how can I get through this rough situation? How can I get past these last few rounds in life? You know what I'm saying? It's like some of the rough stuff. Next slide. So if you're gonna remember anything I said today, I want you to remember these 4 things. No matter what you might go through, don't quit. That is a secret thing in life, is to not quit, no matter what you do. Anybody that's done anything big in this world has had resiliency. They had the ability to bounce back after a rough situation. Number 2, no matter how impossible your situation may seem, stay on course. All right? So you're thinking, I'm going to fail this math class. I'm going to fail this English class. I'm going to fail whatever class. Right? But you got to stay on course. Because I guarantee you you're going to fail that class if you quit. I can't get a 4.0. Well, I guarantee you you're not going to get a 4.0 if you quit, right? So, number 3, when your problems seem more than you can bear, develop staying power. You got to do what you got to do. You got to surround yourself with great people. You got to surround yourself with people who will influence you. You got to surround yourself with people who will push you past your limits. You got to surround yourself with people who will stand behind you no matter what your situation in life may be. And when everything's, number 4, when everything seems like it's falling apart, that's when God is putting things together just the way He wants them. Okay? So you gotta remember, everything will work out in the end, and any day above ground is a good day. That's it. Alright, so.
So you can tell which slides I made because they only have one picture, like no words. So what I wanted to talk about was synthesizing happiness. And essentially what synthesizing happiness is how you feel when you don't get what you want. Alright, so a lot of people think, like see somebody like that didn't get the job they wanted, and that later on they're like, hey, yeah, I think it was for the best, and you're like, you liar, I knew you wanted the job you wanted, like you wanted that job but it didn't turn out. So you're just lying about being happy, but that's not necessarily true. And I wanted to read some quotes for you that was on the newspaper of interviews that were done of people. I was supposed to print this out, but that didn't happen. So, all right. So the first quote says, "I am so much better off physically, mentally, and in almost any other way." Another interview, somebody said, "I don't have 1 minute regret, it was a glorious experience." This one says, "I believe it turned out for the best." So you're probably thinking, who are these great happy people? Like, what happened? Why are they so happy with their lives? And the first one that I read for you, his name was actually Jim Wright. He was actually the most powerful Democrat at the time, but ended up losing everything due to Newt Gingrich, who had exposed some shady deals that he had going on. And he lost everything. He lost his money, his power, his fame, and everything. And years down the road, when they interviewed him, they're like, you know what? Yeah, I'm so much better off physically, financially, mentally, and almost every other way. So he lost everything. This guy lost everything he had. And down the line, he was like, yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy, and it turned out for the best. The second guy says, "I do not have 1 minute's regret. It was a glorious experience." This guy was actually in jail for 37 years in Louisiana State Penitentiary for a crime he did not commit. And at the age of 78, DNA testing came out that said that he was actually not guilty. But he spent 37 years in jail for a crime he did not commit. And he said, and he had this to say afterwards, "I do not regret 1 minute. It was a glorious experience," and he was in jail. All right? This last one said, "I believe it turned out for the best." So who is this happy guy? His name is Harry S. Langerman. No one here has heard of him because he's not rich. But a while ago, back in the day, he heard of these McDonald's brothers that were selling the whole McDonald's stand for $3,000. And he went to New York to see his brother, who was an investment banker, and said, "Hey, I think that I want to buy this franchise off these McDonald's brothers. I think I could make a lot of money." And his brother told him, "No, that's a horrible idea. Nobody eats burgers." Turns out later somebody bought that franchise, and people do like burgers a lot. And the guy who bought the franchise ended up becoming the richest man alive for a long period of time. So he lost that opportunity, but looking back, he says it turned out for the best. So how do you be happy, right? Either go to jail for 37 years, you have a lot of money and fame, and then you lose it all, or you can make somebody else very, very rich, right? But essentially, no. So your mind is actually like set to be happy. You are like programmed to be happy, regardless of what you get or what you don't get. You are meant to be happy. Your mind really is. You just have to know and understand that. And that's the next slide. That's where we talk about the 6 human needs. So there are 6 human needs. The first one is certainty. The second one is uncertainty. Third one is significance. Third is connection and love. Those are the needs of the human. Like that's what you need, but those can be synthesized. those can be synthesized. Like I said, everyone can be happy, regardless of if you get what you want or you don't want. You'll eventually down the line, you'll be like, you know what, it turned out for the best. I think it was for the best. So those can be synthesized and you can feel happy regardless. All right, you'll find a way, even if you have to lie to yourself, smoke, drink, do drugs, whatever you have to do, but you will find a way to meet the first 4 needs. The last 2 needs, though, are called the needs of the spirit. And those you cannot synthesize. Those 2 needs will give you a feeling of fulfillment. Has anyone ever been here like happy but felt empty at the same time? Anybody had that feeling? I have. Anybody? Has felt happy but then empty. And you wonder why. Why do I feel empty if I'm happy? Because happiness can be synthesized. The feeling of fulfillment cannot. So the first need, Pearls, or Israel, next slide. So the first need is certainty. The first of the 6 needs is certainty. You need to make sure you're certain that you're going to have a roof over your head. You're going to have food to eat. You're going to have, you're going to be able to live without being in pain, that you can go to your job without getting shot, or you know what I'm saying? You have to be certain about certain things. If you're not certain about, you don't feel certainty, you're not going to care about anything else. Make sense? You don't have food on your table, you don't really care about anything else. You want to eat, you want to live. So the first need is you need to feel certain about what's going to happen. You need to have some level of certainty. The next need, though, is uncertainty, because if you know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, where it's going to happen, you feel bored, So if you know everything that's going to happen, you feel bored. How many people here like surprises? Anybody here like surprises? No, you don't. You like surprises you like. The ones that you don't like, you call problems. But you need these problems, because without problems, you have, your life is boring, so you need problems. You need problems. But that's the second need. There you go. The third need is significance. You need to feel significant. You need to feel like you matter. You matter to somewhere. You have you need to feel like you matter. That's pretty much it. You need to feel significant, like what you're doing matters to other people. You need to have some level of significance. Next one. You need to have connection and love. All right, now that can be by being more religious, by being very religious and coming to church, spending a lot of time with your family, significant other, wherever it is, wherever you find connection and love, you need to feel in a group. For the most part, nobody likes to be alone all the time, every time. Like you like having other people around you, whether it's your friends, family, whatever. But you like to be with other people. So you need to have, you need to feel connection and love. Which this actually reminds me, the reason that violence has been around and will always be around is because of these 4 needs. Because the easiest way to meet these first 4 needs, if you have no education, no background, no resources, resourcefulness, is violence. If you're in the hood of Wilmington, someone comes out to you and sticks out a gun, from 1 to 10, they just became very significant. But you're also uncertain what's going to happen. It's kind of, but for them it's kind of exciting. So now you're meeting, violence meets a lot of needs. It's not the best way to meet them, but violence meets a lot of needs. And that's why violence has always been around. But those are the first 4 needs. Those can be synthesized, like I had said. So those 4 needs can be synthesized. You will find a way to meet those, whether it's through violence, it's through helping others, or whatever, but you will find a way to meet those because you're programmed to meet them. The last 2 are called the needs of the spirit. Like I said, these will actually give you the feeling of fulfillment. The first one is growth. You need to see yourself grow. All right, if you are like this was an example that was used to me. Like if you think about the little heart thing, Majake, that reads your you're the doctor, the little yeah, that thing. Well, if it's a straight line, if it's not moving, so you're dead. Does that make sense? If something's not moving, it's dying. All right, you need to see yourself grow over the course of time. Whether it's through your education, like getting higher degrees, through your job, getting more promotions, just as a person, but you need to see yourself grow. And that was the first need. That's the first need of the Spirit. And then the second need, to have fulfillment in your life. Yeah, the last need is contribution. All right? If you want to feel fulfilled, you need to see yourself grow, and you need to give back. Because when you give back, you will get a feeling of fulfillment that you will not get anywhere else. So that's it. You need to, guys, you need to feel fulfilled. You need to grow, and you need to give back. And you will, I promise you, get an awesome feeling when you've given something back and expect nothing in return. I remember I saw something, I think it was on, I don't know where it was. I'm always on the phone. But it was somewhere, and I saw it, and it was like, if you do something for someone, if you do something kind for someone else and expect something in return, you're doing business, not a good deed. And for volunteering and for contribution, you need to do something good for someone else without expecting anything in return, and that is how you will meet that need, and you will have an awesome feeling. And that's what I have for you guys today. Sweet. So thank you all for coming. We have some quick surveys. If you guys could please fill